So in this video, we have a young woman who's not too happy that men didn't come help her as she tried to, move her desk up to her apartment. So I'm not gonna waste too much time into this. So let's hear what she has to say, and then I'll share my thoughts.
Our generation is actually cooked, and I had to just come to this realization earlier today because yesterday I was bringing a desk into my apartment and I thought I would make a funny video about how I brought this desk in and no one offered to help me. So I made the caption, "Brought this desk in and not a single man offered to help me," because I do believe that men are good. I do believe in chivalry, and I think that there are men out there who would see a girl struggling and want to help her, right? So I was kind of shocked that not only in this experience, but in past experiences from moving in things into my apartment or doing whatever, lifting heavy things, that people just don't offer, especially men. So I made this video and I posted it just thinking like it would be relatable. No. TikTok said, no, I'm going to humble you real quick. TikTok took my video and just shoved it in the wrong male audience. There are comments that say like, maybe if you weren't a 2 out of 10, someone would have helped you. And then another one was, why didn't you ask the bear for help? And then another one said, well, I bought ingredients for a sandwich and no woman came into the kitchen to help me. And it's like, okay, well, first of all, that's putting women in a category of all you're good for is making me food, you dumb little girl.
See that? Now, what you just said was, assuming that guys come help you, move your desk, you just put men in the category that all they're good for is helping people, help you moving heavy stuff, right? It's the same thing. Now imagine if a guy said, he went on social media, put a caption and said, "I bought ingredients for a sandwich and no woman helped me make that sandwich." What kind of responses do you think he would have gotten? All right, I'm pretty sure he'd have got a lot of negative responses. Okay, and for you, and I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you the video where the desk she had to move. So you look at this video and then you tell me what you think, right? Now tell me, does that desk look heavy? That thing looks so light. I could lift that thing with one arm and just lift it up. And even if it was a little bit heavy, she could have asked another woman to help her. No, but she made the assumption. She put a caption on social media, "I was moving my desk and no man helped me." When she could have just easily asked another woman, but she made the assumption that all men are good for is to move heavy stuff. So what do you think? What kind of responses do you think you're going to get? All right, you're gonna get a lot of guys that's gonna troll you because if you look at that desk, that thing is so light. She needed no help, but of course she put on social media that I was moving my desk and no man helped me, as if that's what we're made to do, right? Okay, so let's let her continue.
Me asking a man to help, not even asking, you're just assuming or hoping that a man would help a girl with lifting something heavy actually plays into their physiological design. Men literally are designed to love to help. Men's bodies are designed to be stronger than women, okay? Like this is tapping into something that is actually like truth, that is not insulting. Like I think you can do it, so it would be nice if you did it. And also,
and this is what she needs to understand, right? Especially in today's environment where you got to understand where men are coming from. And she's clearly not looking at it from the male perspective. We live in an environment where men are told that we're useless, like that we don't need men, right? That if we actually try to do something nice for a woman, oh, it's toxic, or it's toxic masculinity, that being masculine is a bad thing. This is what a lot of men are hearing all the time. So you need to understand that now it's gotten to a point where men are conditioned that, what's the point? I'm just not going to help you, because I think men want to. Like I think there's nothing more beautiful than a nice feminine woman, right? Men want to do that. We want to help women, but when you're living in an environment where you're seen as toxic, and when masculinity is seen as a toxic thing, it's a bad thing. Men are going to just say, all right, what's the point? I'm just going to opt out, and then you can do it yourself, because you got a lot of women out here saying we don't need men, we can do it ourselves. All right, men say, all right, do it yourself. But then of course you have women like her complaining that men aren't helping. Like, you think this just is done for no reason? Like men just say, you know what, we don't want to do it. Men would love to do that. However, we're living in a society where men, just being a masculine man, is told that it's a bad thing. It's misogynist. It's toxic. That just having masculinity is just not good. And you're telling men that they're useless, and we don't need them. I mean, what do you expect, right?
that video is so funny because it plays into a broader topic of like, you could replace man with human. I brought this desk in and no human offered to help me, because that really is the root of it. We are all so selfish as a society. We don't really want to help anyone. It's all about ourselves. That's the true form of Satanism. I'm just going to do a side tangent. Satanism is not the real worship of the devil. Satanism is the worship of yourself.
If that's the case, then all these women are Satanists, right? Because if you go on social media, all these women do is worship themselves, and they expect men to also worship them as well. So, I mean, based on that, man, if that's the case, then all these females out here on social media, all of them out there, even yourself on social media, you're worshiping yourself, right? So, I mean, like, if that's what you want to go at, then that's it is what it is.
Anyway, that's a side rant I could post another time. But the video is attracting, and I'm getting out-ratioed, and I don't care. Like, and this is another thing. Thank God. I love Jesus, and my identity is rooted in what he did on the cross, not what the internet says or what the world says about me. Because if I took my value in what the world said about me, A, my emotions would constantly be up and down, and 2, I would think I'm a 2 out of 10 loser, okay? So thank God that I don't, like, these comments don't affect me. But on a deeper level, it's like, wow, men really hate women. Because they're like, I thought you were an independent woman. Ask the bear.
Why do you think men do not hate women? When you hear this stuff, it's a lot of frustration. That's all. It's frustration. That's all it is. Men do not hate women. I'm sure there are some that hate women, but the majority of men do not hate women. Okay, that's just not what it is. It's just frustration in the world today, and dealing, operating as a man when you're told that you're just not good enough. We don't need you. You're useless, and that just being masculine is a toxic thing. That's all it is. It's just a lot of frustration, and men are just saying, you know what? We're just opting out. That's all it is. It's not any hatred. All right. If to you it may sound like that, it may feel that way, but it's just, you know what? Women saying it's the environment that women created. That's all men do. Like, we adapt to the environment. Okay. If we have women that are acting a certain way, we want to say, all right, this is how we're going to adjust. If this is what women want, men adapt. Men are very good at adapting. All right, especially when it comes to how women are acting in terms of the whole market. So men say, all right, this is the way women want. They can be independent. They can do their own thing. Let's let them do that. That's all it is. Has nothing to do with hatred.
That's just so gross. It's like, if you see this, like, as a man, I would hope that the good men in my life, I know that they would say, no, as men, we need to stand up and change the path that we're going on as a society. I just think that the whole comment section is such a red flag. The commenters are a red flag. The likers of the commenters are a red flag. It's like, it's the principle. Yes, I can lift a desk. Yes, I am strong. Thank God I have a working body that's able to do these things, right? But it's just the overarching principle that we don't want to help anyone, and especially men. They don't want to step up to the challenge. And they're trying to blame feminism. Feminism killed chivalry, okay? No, that's actually not true.
I mean, how you gonna tell what men are going through, right? And have you noticed? All she does is criticize men. Men need to do this. Men aren't doing that. Men are this. Men are that. She has not once said what women are doing wrong. She's never said that. She's never said men are like, women need to do this. Maybe women need to act a certain way. No, it's always critiquing the men. As if the women are perfect, right? They never do anything wrong. So how are we supposed to take you serious when all you're doing is criticizing the men? Like, men understand we're supposed to be leaders. We understand this. Like, we know this. Like, we need to be in leadership position. However, if a man ever tries to be in a leadership position with a woman, right? A woman, we tell a woman that you need to, we're there for, discipline, leadership. We're seen as toxic. We're seen as, you're trying to control. So men say, all right, you know what, leave you alone. Like, you can't say all the things that men need to do, but then without saying, well, okay, what do women need to do, right? All she's doing is criticizing the men and telling what the men need to do. As a woman, like, I don't know, I'm pretty sure when it comes to men, I'm like, I don't need a woman to tell me what a man needs to be, all right? So it's just funny that she has all these things to say about men, but she has nothing to say about the women.
Since the beginning of the time, that we love to say, oh, Eve sinned, women messed up the whole earth. No, actually, the Bible says that Eve was by herself. It was Adam's passivity and not putting his foot down and saying, no, Eve, we're not going to do that. That was the downfall of humanity, okay? So we see the same thing right now. Men just stepping back going, oh, look at the women, they're ruining it. Oh, the feminists, they're ruining it. No, as a man, you're designed to lead. Step up and lead and say, you know what, we're going to put our foot down and we're going to bring back masculinity in the Christian way, in the respective way, not in like an overarching like patriarchy way. Do you know what I mean? It's
don't know what you mean. Like, I don't know what you mean. See that? Like, see, some of these women want men to be. They want to determine how men are supposed to act, when it's okay to be a man, and how it's okay, and how a man should be. Right? You want to determine when and where a man should be a man. Men should be men. Like, you can't make that determination. Right? But you don't want to be in a patriarchal way. If I say, man, I'm gonna be in a leadership position, women need to follow my authority, you already know what's gonna happen, right? And you talk about all these other things, but you see the laws cater to women, right? So if a man puts his foot down and says you need to do X, Y, and Z, I mean, how's that gonna look? I mean, let's be real. Like, these laws cater to women, they favor women. A man can't do anything with that when it comes to law. The women have all the rights and all the power when it comes to law. So you're saying a man should do X, Y, Z. Men have done that. Men have tried to do that, and clearly the results haven't worked. So men say, you know what? Boom, step aside. Let society do what it does. We're gonna step aside and handle our own business, right? And that's what it's like. But clearly she doesn't understand. She's young. Like, she doesn't get it, right? She's trying to explain how men should act. She's trying to explain what men need to be, right? But she clearly doesn't get it.
So disappointing. It's literally so disappointing, and like, the comments make me laugh. I'm like, the desk is in my room. The desk got brought up. I just was a little disappointed, but I mean, they're losing it. They're losing it in the comments. So those are just my thoughts, but don't know if anyone else agrees, but yeah, we're cooked.
I mean, you watched that whole video. Who's the one that sounds like they're losing it? Right? You did a whole video, a 4-minute video about how men couldn't help you lift a desk that you clearly could have lifted yourself. It was obvious. Like, it's not something that was crazy heavy. And if it was heavy, you could have asked another woman to do it. Let me say something. Like, men understand that, men want to be chivalrous, right? Like, I open doors for women. I do it all the time, when there's an opportunity. But you got to understand where men are coming from, especially in today's environment. The feeling like men are ostracized for being men, right? So it's kind of confusing. Like, all right, if I do this for a woman, like, what kind of response would I get? Right? You need to understand what men are going through, but clearly she doesn't do that. She just comes looking at it from the female perspective, right? And men have gotten to a point where they just say, you know what, we don't want to do this anymore. We're just gonna opt out and just say, you know what, do your thing, and then when the time comes and you'll need us, then we'll see how it goes. But you need to really understand what men are going through in terms of just in the market, dating market, anytime when it comes with just dealing with women. All right. Some men have just said, you know what, they've given up, which I wish, that wasn't the case, because, obviously men and women need each other, but some men have just gotten tired of it. And you have to understand it from that perspective, right? Men would like to be like, oh, this woman needs help moving the desk. All right, let me help her out. But men have gotten to a point where I say, you know what, do it yourself. And it's just what it is. Like, it's a sucky situation, but it is what it is. All right. So those are my thoughts. Interested to hear what you guys say. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button, share. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. All right, so guys, take care. Have a good one. Later.